And welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we live stream every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Unless we have a guest, we will live stream. I forgot to do something. We will live stream at 9 a.m. if we have a guest. So, for those that are new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we teach people all over the world how to understand behavior through working with animals, primarily exotics. So, give me a couple of seconds to get back in the gist of working in this studio since I only use this the first Sunday of every month. Um, let's get this out of here. Um, so you can find out more information about what we do on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can also email me personally at Laura, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. On our website, you will find our live streaming services, our live streaming memberships, and our in-person workshops. We have online animal behavior and training and enrichment consultations. You can find a lot more about the work we do. You can also email me personally. I answer each and every email. You can find on our website our events and our blog where we write articles. I've been writing several articles lately, some for certain organizations and some that I will publish publicly, and I will let you know here. You can also get in touch with me via our contact information. Um, so I'm going to edit something real quick. Today we're going to have a Q&A, and that's what I'm editing right now. I've had several requests about please have another Q&A soon. I have some questions that need answered. Before I start answering and taking some of your questions, yesterday we had a volunteer Christmas party. So our nonprofit is called the Sam I Can Foundation. And yesterday is where we rarely open our doors to the public. But when we do, it's very few and far between because most of our services are live streamed. But Sam I Can Foundation is our nonprofit, and we have several volunteers who volunteer for us and the animals, providing training, cleaning, feeding, and enrichment for the animals. So yesterday we had our Christmas party where we allow the volunteers to bring in their family or a few friends. And I just wanted to show a couple of photos of that. Here's Katie with Jelly Bean, the curl-crusted arasari, flying to her hand. This is a great opportunity for the volunteers to bring in their family and show them exactly what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So we took them around to the different animals and introduced them to the animals that are cared for by the Animal Behavior Center, which is an array of birds, alligators. We did get Bruce out. Bruce did, but there was probably over 50 people there. And we were able to get Bruce, the American alligator, to come out and give a training demonstration. And that was, I don't want to say probably everybody's favorite, but I've been hearing a lot that people really enjoy the training we do with an assortment of species of animals. So we also showed people our ringtail lemurs, dill, chili, and gherkin. We were able to get several different animals out for them and help spread the message that when we know better, we do better. I gave them a talk in the beginning showing how a lot of the animals all the animals that we have, minus one, was brought to us because and we're not a rescue. They either lost their home or they were going to be euthanized, or something happened. So we will take those animals and we will train them, and they're training us as well. And we talk about how the training is teamwork between us and the animal. It's all about respect, never forcing the animal to do anything. And people were very impressed. We got rave reviews over the work we do. And we even had one of our volunteers, Brooke Hartman, made these awesome little treats for everybody. So we have some amazing volunteers. And I mentioned we cannot do this without our volunteers. And we invited a lot of the people that donate to us, such as Lowe's, um, Howard's Meats, Kurtzel's Farms, and more. And we really appreciate everybody. So today I just wanted to have a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free. I know we have a lot of people signing up for our email newsletter, and I do believe that newsletter went out yesterday. So while I wait, good morning, Ray and Jennifer and Stephanie and everybody else watching. While I wait for anybody to post a question, just interrupt me with your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go a little into detail about some of the training that we're doing. I know a lot of people tell me when I tell them I will train any species of animal, because the focus on the work that I do is applied behavior analysis, using the science of behavior to change behavior, teach new behavior. A lot of people think of the word as control, as a negative connotation, and that's probably because how it's misused. All of us need to keep certain things in our lives, in the care of certain animals, people under our control, in order to give them the guidance they need to thrive and survive in this day and age, in this environment. So control helps us give the animal what they need to thrive in this environment. So for example, I was mentioning yesterday when I was training Bruce, and I was able to get him out of his enclosure and show him, to the volunteers, their families, and the people who donate to us. This is what your donation is providing to the Sam I Can Foundation and to these animals. Bruce turned 4 years old, and I'm going to make a post on the Sam I Can Foundation Facebook page on November 21st. And when we got him, he's an American alligator. He was found in a local waterway here in Northwest Ohio where he was not going to survive. So I did reach out and try to find an organization to take him. I did find somebody that would take him, but they were maxed out with alligators. And I was like, but what if I train this alligator? Tell me what you need this alligator trained to do to be an ambassador for your organization. And she mentioned crate training, scale training, and those are, well, we haven't started with the crate training because we need to get him out first. But a lot of people jump the gun when it comes to training, such as, for example, taking a dog for a walk in the park. People start with the dog on a leash at the park. That is not at all where I would begin. What we need to do is build up to that point that the animal and myself have all the tools we need to be successful on a leash at the park. So a lot of times with the dog in a situation like that, I will start in my house, in the living room. Then I will move to in the kitchen, and I don't even have the leash out. I may be targeting their nose to my hand. And what I'm doing is shaping behavior in approximations to get to the final goal. So put the leash away. All right. We're not even there yet. So with Bruce, through my training, I have the utmost respect for this alligator. And I've been told with people, he works so well with you. And that is because not a lot of other people work with him. I do have 2 other people that will go in and feed him on days that I'm not there. Um, but he knows me, and he knows me through training, and that is the primary reason why I do what I do. Um, so he knows my face, he knows my voice, he knows my movements. 2 years ago, we weren't even able to get him out of an enclosure. We couldn't even show our faces to him because he was so fearful. And fearful, I mean, if we got in close approximation, he would swim as far away from us as possible. He would probably hurt himself if we continued to push. So that's how far back. Bruce has been with us for, I think in February, I can't remember if it'll be 2 or 3 years, under our direct training. So where I began with him was just showing in his tub, his pool, because when he arrived to us, he was only this big. And as of yesterday, we measured him. He is now 4 feet. Um, I keep in mind what are my goals for this particular animal? I don't care if the public ever sees Bruce. I just want Bruce to thrive, indoors or out, wherever he wants to be. We did take him outdoors, and it was way too overwhelming for him. He barely showed himself. So we pulled him back in. We wanted him outdoors so he could get the natural sunlight. Um, we learned through our mistakes, but I have to make a mistake first before I can learn from it. So we pulled him back in. We gave him a new enclosure, and we started from square one all over again, showing the top of our head, tossing a piece of meat, and then we got him. So the end, like say the end result for Bruce right now is we do want him out and about and walking around freely in the enrichment room. We can control his behavior, um, by identifying his favored positive reinforcers. Hey, Sheila, good to see you. And that's my sister. Um, we can control where animals go by identifying reinforcers, positive reinforcers. The positive reinforcer is always determined by the animal, never by us. It is our job to identify those reinforcers and deliver them for future behaviors we want to see not only increase but maintain. So Bruce's a lot of his favorite reinforcers are food. There are different types of food. Um, Warmth. So our plan is to build him a platform where he will go to and station, because the warmth from the lights, or the heat lamps are hanging above. Um, so the scale that we have for him, he is already outgrown, so we need to get another scale. So in order to get him, I also want to get him crate trained so we don't have to force him to move him. Um, but in order to get him crate trained, I need a lot more room to work with him. So I have used a target stick. And this is what I was telling people yesterday during my presentation. A lot of times when I'm working with an animal, whether I understand the species or not, I focus on the individual, and I will start shaping a target stick, a nose target. And that helps teach the animal contingencies, meaning if I touch my nose to this target stick, boom, this is delivered. And then it becomes a conditioned reinforcer. And what a conditioned reinforcer is when something's paired with another, with something of high value. For example, you keep pairing the target stick with the food, with the meat, and to be more specific, it's cubed pieces of meat. You keep pairing that target stick with the meat. That target stick, the appearance of the target stick is going to become the conditioned reinforcer. So When he sees that target stick, he's going to immediately want to follow it. So then you don't want to show it until you're ready to use it, because if you show it and you don't deliver the reinforcer for him touching or following it, the target stick is going to lose its contingency. It's going to start losing its meaning. So whenever we're not using that target stick, is put up in a way where the animal cannot see it and cannot touch it. So if the end result is to get him in a crate, I need to get him out of his enclosure. And he is very comfortable with his enclosure, and I want it to stay that way. So in order to get him out, the environment inside his enclosure, he's very comfortable with. When you bring them out of their environment, they can become extremely overwhelmed, extremely overstimulated. And if it was a bird, it takes off flying, you've lost control. If it's Bruce, he takes off running, you've lost control. And when you lose control in these beginning stages of training, the animal can get hurt. The animal is now pairing, coming outside of the enclosure with being overwhelmed and fearing it. So then it's going to punish the behavior of him coming out of the enclosure again, very likely. So when he comes out of that enclosure, he's got all this space and all these opportunities. And I pair it and I explain it, it's too much information. It's too much information overload for the animal, and they don't know which choices to make because they haven't been guided. Good morning, Sylvia. They haven't been guided or shown. So then you shape it. So here's the bar across the bottom of the door. I will shape, and shaping means reinforcing real small approximations towards the target or the desired behavior. So many times I was told yesterday, you must be a very patient person. And I hear that. Yep. So as Sylvia says, keep it simple. I hear that all the time. I am not a patient person. What I do that a lot of people don't do is I look for really small behaviors and movements, such as, did he come out? Did his body cross that bar, the door? No, but his foot touched it. So I'm going to deliver the reinforcer for that behavior. And then I'm going to look for his snout came out over top of that bar about this far. I'm going to reinforce. Then it came out this far, then I'm going to reinforce. And a lot of times when people get those steps, they keep taking the steps. And what I find that works so good is I just got 3 steps towards the behavior: a foot over this far, the snout over this far, and this far. Then I'm going to ask the animal to return to its enclosure. I have found in my experiences that when you're shaping these behaviors and you ask them to return to the area they're comfortable, or give a behavior they already know, the more you do that, then you turn around and ask them to come out again, the more steps they're going to take towards your desired goal, their desired goal too. Sylvia says, create the yellow brick road. Sylvia is an amazing dog trainer that I collaborate with a lot. So keep it simple. Look at those really small steps. The more you show the animal, okay, now I'm asking you to go back to the enclosure where you're comfortable. I always want the animal to be comfortable. um, the more you do that, the more steps they take forward, because I don't know what happens in their head. All I do, and this is what applied behavior analysis does, is we focus on um, observable, measurable information. He came out this far. He came out this far. He came out this far. He did this behavior 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Boom. Ask him to go back. Ask them to come back out, ask them to do it 6 times. Boom, ask them to go back, ask them to come out. Is that patience? I don't know. When an animal does this for me, I'm seeing consistent progress. And I'm not going to lie and tell you I haven't made this mistake before. I can get so focused on I'm getting the behavior, I'm getting the behavior. And then you push the animal past its comfort level, but you're still getting the behavior. I have found myself in this situation before, but then I'm just like, back up. Why am I in this? Am I in this for me to see if I can get the behavior or the animal and make sure they're comfortable and thriving? And that's when the animal is showing me signs they're still giving me behavior, but they're not comfortable. I will stop because now I'm in it for a different reason. And now you're encroaching on negative reinforcement. And I don't want to throw a lot of terminology, but I will explain when I give a scientific term what that scientific term means. Negative reinforcement, I do want to stay away from it because it is explained as though when the animal gives you a behavior, even if it's a behavior that I want, but it does it to escape, avoid an alternative behavior. I don't want to put an animal in that situation. I want the animal, I want to see anticipatory behavior, like with a lot of the parrots. When they see the syringe come out, they know it's time for training. They will go to their stations and they will start saying, hi, hi, doing whatever to get me to come to them and start the training with them. And as I've told you in the past, studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. I know that for a fact. I entered this field of working professionally with animals through enriching their environments. I wanted to see them thrive, move, eager. Um, but then, and I by designing their enclosures, but then I started seeing that animal wanting to be closer and closer to me, interact with me. So I found myself starting to train it. Then I went back to school, taking master level working master level classes in applied behavior analysis to be able to um, do better by them. Corey says, working with 2 feral Quakers right now. Clean slate. What lessons I'm gathering. Thank you for all you do, Laura. Oh, you're very welcome, Corey. Good to see you. Corey runs the Rhode Island Parrot Rescue out in Rhode Island. So a lot of people will ask me when I start, okay, and I just went through this with a series of dogs. And Sylvia, this was the one I contacted you about. Um, where do I begin? I've got an animal with a clean slate. Clean slate means um, usually they're young, they haven't started learning a lot yet. They haven't had the opportunity to learn undesired behaviors, and undesired means undesired by us. Is it undesired by us? Usually, if we label it as undesired, but is it undesired by the animal? Because if it's undesired by the animal, it won't do it. So if it's undesired by us, but the animal is still doing that behavior, it's because that behavior serves a purpose for the animal. And that is the reason why I drove to North Carolina and got snow at the age of 11 weeks old, because she's learning. I watched her picking up shoes and slippers within the house and carry them back to her crate and chewing on them. And if I'm going to adopt this dog, I need to guide her and show her, boop, here's the behaviors that are going to earn you reinforcement. And I do that through training. And whether you realize it or not, you are training every animal. If that animal can see, hear, smell, or feel you, you are training it. Training is communication. The animal is gathering information that it needs in its environment to get future behaviors that are positively reinforcing to that animal. They can learn them on their own, and more than likely, you're not going to like what they learn on their own, or you can guide them and show them. And when you guide them and show them, you can clearly see they're very eager for that interaction if you're actually using positive reinforcement. And they will grow and learn to continue to engage with you and look to you for guidance. And I also look to the animal for guidance. How are you feeling? What does this behavior mean? I'm not sure what this behavior means. What I don't want to see is an animal that is stressed. And a lot of people, when they see like polar bears doing continual flips, um, birds doing continual flips in their enclosure, they're like, oh, they're playing. Really? Take a closer look. That is usually an abnormal repetitive behavior given because they see something and they can't get to it, or they're out of options and they have lost control over their environment. And that is why I provide the enrichment to give the animal the control it needs to thrive under my care and in the environments that I provide to them. So, I just a couple things I wanted to mention. If you like the information you see here, you can visit our website, take a look at our online memberships. Our foundations is for people at home with companion animals. The advanced applied animal behavior and training is for people who want more information on learning about behavior across the species and how it pertains to us as well. We also have the Parrot Project, which is species specific. Um, and with the holidays coming as well, we also have gift certificates. So if you want to purchase these for the animal lovers in your life, we do have that option for you. Those are available all year round, but some of the other services we have is we are getting ready to prepare for our next in-person workshop, which is held at the Animal Behavior Center with limited seats. That will be in May. You can also book a day with the trainer. Look for our webinars, our pre-recorded webinars, or our upcoming live streamed webinars in our podcast, which are a huge hit, which are in our memberships, both memberships. So with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody who attended. Happy holidays. Let me know what you would like to see in a future episode of Coffee with the Critters, and I will make that happen. Thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia says awesome workshops. All right, everybody, take care.